The Warriors have decided not to suspend Draymond Green. You probably already know about this news since it was everywhere today, but my thoughts about this is first off, the Warriors are a clown organization. Yes, you heard me. I think they're run by a bunch of clowns. Steve Kerr is one of the ringleaders of the circus. That's how I feel about the situation. They're basically trying to normalize violence simply because they're too scared to punish Draymond Green. They're scared to hurt his feelings. I think that's really what it is. And they also want to still see if they can win with both him and Jordan Poole. So they're trying to have like the best of both worlds where they can satisfy Jordan Poole by giving him his extension and also satisfy Draymond Green by not suspending him. I think it's wrong, to be honest, to set that perceive that violence is okay. I've also heard new rumors about that knockout punch that Draymond Green gave Jordan Poole, which is that it did knock out Jordan Poole. I've heard that he did lay on the ground for like several minutes. He was unconscious. So you didn't see that in that video because they didn't catch that part where they're just laying him on the ground gently after he falls back. Just he was knocked out cold. So it was definitely serious. There's just no way to normalize this. I think it's pathetic what the Warriors are doing. I've heard idiots like Stephen A say like, "Well, I think he should have been suspended, but then again, you couldn't suspend him. It's ring night. It's ring night. You can't punish him." And I want to say to that, like, who gives a shit? It's ring night. He should be punished. That's like the only way he's gonna learn a lesson. Just punishments are not supposed to be pleasurable or just tiny slaps on the wrist because then they're not really a punishment. It's like your parents like telling you after you lied to them that you were gonna come home, that at a certain time you come home late after a party, and then them telling you like, well, your punishment is like no TV for a week. Of course you're gonna take that punishment. That's like nothing. Just you're not gonna learn your lesson. Versus if your parents take away your car and they're just like, yeah, that's it. We're not gonna allow you to drive your car for like a month. You're definitely gonna learn your lesson after that shit. You're gonna be more cautious not to do the same thing again. So I think this is just dumb. And it shows that they have no morals because you keep on screaming it's ring night, you can't suspend him. That just shows that you didn't think what he did was serious enough for a suspension, because I guarantee you if he had did something even more heinous, and this is an extreme example, I'm just using it out to throw this out. Of course, I don't think he'll ever do it, but let's say he molested a 10-year-old kid. There's no way in hell they would not suspend him for ring night. Okay, so this is just a bunch of BS they're trying to spin, if we're being honest here. That's the way I look at it. They didn't want to suspend him, so they had to come up with 50 excuses not to do it. And it just shows where their priorities are. It shows what a joke of an organization is. This is the same organization that suspended Draymond Green for calling Kevin Durant a bitch during a game. They suspended him for like a game or two for that, but for knocking out Jordan Poole, he doesn't get suspended. Not only did he knock out Jordan Poole, he called him a bitch a bunch of times. That's what I've heard prior to knocking him out. So it was that bad, and it also shows that Steve Kerr is a phony. This guy always preaches this moral high ground and tries to present himself as this guy with character who cares. And I'm not going to just bring up the virtual signaling and social issues, but let's talk about last year in the playoffs when he said that Dylan Brooks broke the code when he took out Gary Payton 2 on that foul. It was Steve Kerr who kept on stressing that it was dirty and that we can't normalize violence in this game. It's not part of the game. It's no place in the game. And I think that's hypocritical now because it certainly had a place in your locker room. It doesn't have a place in the game when it doesn't benefit you, but when it benefits you, it certainly has a place in the game. And it certainly had a place in the game when you had Zaza Pachulia take out Kawhi Leonard several years ago. So I don't respect him. I think he's a clown. He's a phony, and if you can't see through it, well, there's not much I can do to convince you of that. That's a judgment call, but I definitely could tell he's a phony. He's not fooling me. Now, going forward with this team, I would say that I do expect the Warriors to still win a good amount of games despite this happening. One thing I'll bring up is I just look at the Kobe Shaq Lakers. I always believe that Kobe Shaq hated each other, and even after their careers are over, I don't think they were ever close. I think there was just a lot of fakeness they had towards each other because they didn't want the drama anymore. But they were never friends. They were never buddies. But there was one incident where I recall Shaq slapped Kobe during the lockout season. He connected on it. I think it was a slap or a punch. It was not as big as the Draymond Green hit on Jordan Poole, but it definitely created a rift in a relationship that could never really be repaired. They put their differences aside and they won 3 championships, but I felt that The only thing that kept their relationship going was that they were winning. And after that first championship, I felt the next two were kind of rocky, where the second championship they won together, their regular season record wasn't as great as the previous year, and they were pretty much running on fumes. Granted, in the playoffs they had kind of like a fluky run, I would say, but next year you could tell it was a fluke because they couldn't dominate the playoffs. They were basically operating on fumes. I always believe if that team had lost in 2000 to the Blazers, that they would have fallen apart immediately, that Kobe and Shaq would not be able to coexist. And I felt even after 2003, when the Spurs eliminated them, they probably would have fallen apart had Gary Payton and Karl Malone not joined them for that 1 year to extend their lifespan by another year. But that's just an example I'm giving you, that basically it's hard to keep a team together long term if the two players really despise each other, because you can't win every year. It's kind of like impossible. The moment you start losing and you don't win the championship is the moment it just comes down crashing down to earth. And I think that'll happen with the Warriors if they don't win it all this year. Grant, I think they have a good chance of doing it. I would say the field is kind of level. There's probably a few teams out there that can give them a run for their money. I'll break that down later, not in this video, but but one thing I'll say about this Warriors team, I don't expect them to dominate the regular season. When I consider dominating the regular season, I would say that's when a team wins, I would say around 60 wins or more. That's what I call domination. You have to win. That's my metric for dominating the regular season. I don't think the Warriors will do that. They're probably going to win somewhere in the low 50s to mid 50s, I would say, in that range for wins. That's the way I look at it. So it will be very competitive, and I think this team will get challenged during the playoffs. I do expect one series they'll get pushed to 7, and there's definitely a chance they could be dethroned. But I think long term, Draymond and Jordan Poole can't coexist. The only thing that can keep them going is winning. The moment they don't win is the moment this team will fall apart chemistry wise. So that's the way I look at it in that regard. Now, when it comes to Jordan Poole, it will definitely be interesting if they give him an extension. So if they don't give him an extension in the next several days, I think the deadline is October 17th or 18th. So we'll know for sure if they're going to give him the extension. But I think my theory is that they promised him the extension and how much he wanted, as long as he told them as long as he agreed to not suspending Draymond Green. That's the only thing I can think of. Now, if he doesn't get that money, then really, what's the point of just playing ball with the Warriors? No pun intended, just off the court. I don't see the point of that. If I'm Jordan Poole, I'm disruptive as hell. I would fight Draymond every day in practice. Hell, I would cheap shot him. I would wait for him to get out of the shower and then just attack him for real when he's not prepared. Like, just that's the way I look at it. But I have nothing else to say about this. If you like my video, please like it. It definitely helps me, and please subscribe. All right, thank you.